All right, let's meet the next four panelists on today's show. We have right down here in his green and red, Chuck Cavaleris. You got the ugly sweater memo, VFL Ollie Lane right here, wearing the green, VFL Kevin Simon right there. Look, always dapper. Look at that.
Hey!
And you got back from Columbus about 15 minutes ago.
15 minutes ago up the highway. Just up the
VFL
highway.
Sterling Hinton, I will say, the fact that I swear if you got launched to the wrong side of the moon, you would be back here in time for the Sports Source. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. All right.
Man of the people.
That's right. Let's do a poll question for you real quick. Get your take on this. Some of you have already been voting online. How will you remember the Vols 2024 season? We got a little Ebenezer Scrooge faces there. Will it be, huzzah, we made the playoffs? Or will it be, humbug, lost in the playoffs? You tell us. It looks like right now the majority, the slight majority, saying, huzzah, we made the playoffs. How will you remember this season? And I know it's dangerous to ask that 12 hours after a beating, but still, get on your phones under the Hearthside Bank there, click the QR code, play along with us, let us know what you think about this season. Okay, gentlemen, you heard the other guys do their top takeaways. I said this was going to be key plays, key decisions. To heck with that. Just give me your top takeaways. Kevin, you heard us talking talent. You're a former NFL scout. A lot more NFL talent on that Ohio State roster, I think.
Yeah, without question. But the thing that really stands out to me is coaching matters. So when you look at Ryan Day, Chip Kelly, the game plan that Chip Kelly had against Michigan, Chip Kelly said after that game, stupid game plan. We threw it one time to Jeremiah Smith in the second half. He's like, we tried to outrush him, stupid game plan. He's like, that's on me, right? So you knew that you're going to get a different game plan against our Vols. And Ryan Day said it after the game. He said, good game. He's like, heck of a game called by Chip Kelly. Was an aggressive game plan where we try to take advantage of our strengths and minimize our deficiencies. As I'm watching the game, watching the play action, watching the eye candy, watching the slipper play, hit the guy for 5 yards, watching him stay ahead of the chains, I'm like, that's what we need to be doing. So coaching matters. I was listening to Pete Carroll the other day, and he was talking about Bill Walsh and what Bill Walsh taught him. He's taught him that the quarterback is the toughest position to play in professional sports. So being the toughest position to play, and you know all about this, you got to make things easier on the quarterback. You got to build around him, right? So you have to make things easier. So what that looked like for the Seattle Seahawks, that was getting an attitude guy like Marshawn Lynch, building a defense, so then it wasn't all on the quarterback. We got to build around Nico to where it's not all on him. And you saw with the wide receivers and just with the offensive line, it's all on him right now, and that's unfair to him. So we got to do a better job. You got to get more playmakers on the offense.
Especially last night, I thought at the end of that first quarter, it kind of looked like Heupel almost said, well, we got nothing else. Let's just make it the Nico show. They ran him more than they had all year, which just looked, the fact they haven't run him like that all year screamed to me that, hell, I don't know, we got nothing else, just run him. It seemed like they were, like all the pages were ripped for their playbook, and they just had Nico, and they put it all on him.
Seemed like they panicked to me. I mean, I watched it, and it seemed like after the face mask, right? And I know one play is not going to change that outcome.
No, but that was a pretty big call.
That was like the energy left the building to me. That you think you're going to get a sack, our defensive line's going to show up, we're going to get going, we're going to make the fans turn on Ohio State, which they were so ready to do, and instead it's the penalty. What, 2 or 3 plays later, they score. And your single coverage on the outside against receivers, you don't adjust to the motion. John, I texted you. All of that motion on the 27-yard touchdown run made it 21-0. They motion left. 3 Tennessee defenders go with it. It's wide open to run it up the middle and then outside. I mean, we can watch this. Why can't the coaches?
Ollie, Sterling, top takeaways.
Yeah, I mean, just to piggyback off of what you said, that was my most disappointing aspect of this game is just the way our defense is, what our saving grace all season, the ones that have defended the offense, I mean, they just rolled over last night. And it was pretty apparent after that face mask from the sack that it was just almost looked like they checked out. And you see, like, the antics and stuff in pregame, they were all juiced up. I wonder if they blew that juice level a little too early because they came out flat after that. There was nothing exciting, nothing new happening on, and especially offensively, again, very vanilla, nothing out of the ordinary when you lose a guy like Dylan Sampson halfway through the game. It's going to affect an offense that doesn't have extra things to go to.
Sterling, top takeaway.
Top takeaway, well, I'm going to piggyback what everybody said about that face mask on the sack, because I was there. And let me tell you something. Before the game, they were just waiting to fire somebody. I'm not going to say any names. It was hot up there. It was cold weather, but it was hot.
Right.
The seat was hot. And that face mask happened, and like the whole vibe just changed. And with us not having our super athletic guys, Dylan Sampson back there running the ball, it's hard to get a juiced offense that we depended on him to get us over those humps, to get the momentum back on our side. It was an unfortunate situation. We ran into a buzzsaw last night.
Yeah, Kevin, go ahead. You want to jump?
Yeah, so the one thing is that just surprised me, the best we've seen this offense was against Georgia. That first drive, that first half, like it's the best game. It's in my opinion, it's Heupel's best game that he's called since he's been here. It's a lot easier when you got Jalen Hyatt running by people to call the game. This, with these guys he's playing with, it was a great game call. Get them in a rhythm. It basically looked a lot like how Ohio State's game plan was. So for us to not ever get back to doing that, I get it. We could go drop back pass and throw against Vanderbilt, but it's Vanderbilt. All right, so on the first series, you run the ball, get stuffed. Drop back pass, doesn't work out, nobody's open, drop back pass, all right, 3 and out. Next drive, all right, drop back pass, nothing. Run the football, nothing. Try to throw a screen, batted. Like you start the game and you got those 2 3 and outs. It just wasn't a QB friendly game plan. And then the last thing I'm gonna say, it was the 5th drive of the game. It's the first time that they've run Nico on more than one design run in a series all season long,
right?
Which was good. We've talked about it.
Yeah.
Moving forward, Nico's legs have to be a part of the equation to move this offense.
And I want to be clear. I don't have a problem with him using him and running him more. I thought they should have run him more all year. I just thought it looked desperate last night because you haven't done it all year. You're throwing for 100 yards. Sampson's out. It just looked like run Nico. It didn't look like they planned it. It looked like it's all we got. It's the only bullet we got in the gun. Because if they had done that more all year, I would have given them credit last night. It just seemed to be more of a parachute last night than anything. Any other quick last takes?
My last take was it was entirely too easy for Ohio State, no matter what they called. And it was entirely too difficult for Tennessee. And you just can't play a championship level game and have that kind of performance.
Here's my last takeaway. This playoff seeding is nonsense because you're going to see what should be the national championship game in the quarterfinals in the Rose Bowl next week. Because I think Oregon and Ohio State are probably the 2 best teams in this nation. They played the first game that looked like it, and now they're playing in the quarterfinals because the bracket's all screwy. I think that Ohio State team with that roster and the numbers we showed you in the first segment, they're as good as anybody. It'll be interesting to see if they can get up again after that huge win that they just had against Tennessee. All right, when we come back, what area of the game gets the biggest lump of coal? Offense, defense, coaching, or the talent gap, which would also be kind of coaching. Come on back.